Hello and welcome to another episode of We're Not Wizards. My name's Richard. I'll be your host for November. Jingle, 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 almost. Jingle, jingle. I've totally fluffed at the beginning because, you know, just as you like to know, I occasionally like to do voices, and I don't think there's anything better than having someone on that's been involved in a bit of piracy.
Rubbish Cornish accent.
I don't care. It's my show.
And you're suggesting ours is better?
I'm not suggesting anything at all. That's terrible. It's really just absolutely just an actual disaster. But anyway, we shall persevere. The people that you're hearing in the background who have not waited for themselves to be introduced but just jumped right in, but I guess this is the way this show is going to be. I've got Cait Russell.
Hello.
I've got Matt Tweed.
Hi.
What kind of ahoy was that?
What I just
That's the most camp ahoy I've ever heard.
Again, what, where? They're from Griffin Game. They're from Griffin Game.
Griffin Games, that's right.
Now, earlier on... Stop it. Earlier on this year, I'm trying to tell the story. If we didn't tell the story, then we don't get it going and we just end up conflabbing for ages. It's not happening. So, back on earlier this year...
Yeah.
They went to Kickstarter, and they were kickstarting a game which was called Pirates of Penryn.
That's right.
And that funded.
Game. It did.
It did, amazingly.
And it's kind of getting on its way to being like onto backers and stuff like that, which is always good, because if you back a game on Kickstarter, it's always really nice to get it.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true.
Yeah, well, we're very determined.
But then, you know, from there, you know, they're at the point now where they've gone through the Kickstarter process, so they're at the other side. And we talk to a lot of people who are at the beginning of the process or who are in the middle of the process. And it's always nice to speak to people who are at the end of the process, at the point of fulfillment as well, just to see where they are.
That would be nice, to get to the end of the process.
Nearly at
the end of the process.
Nearly. But as always, what we like to do is we like to find out a little bit about these wonderful people. So,
which wonderful people?
We're going to have a peek back at the buccaneers of the past before we have a look at the sloop John B to the present and dash off into the Davy Jones's locker of the future.
Nice.
But before... Oh my word. But before it's like, do you know, it was one of these things where you say, well, what I'll do is I'll take notes and little timestamps, and Matt will know about this, and then you'll edit stuff out, and then sometimes you just say, there's no saving this one, we just might as well just keep going and kind of see what happens. But do you want to start off a bit by kind of telling us a bit about how you kind of respectively got into the hobby? If we maybe start with Cait to begin with, how did you get kind of venturing about the kind of the pressed and printed trees?
Well, I mean, it all began, you know, as it always does when you're a kid, and those Christmases where you're playing the awful Monopoly, and you couldn't wait to play Cluedo instead, because that was brilliant. So I always loved it as a little kid, and then I kind of grew up and moved away from it for a while, and then I sort of ended up by accident getting sort of involved in the video games industry for a while.
All right, okay.
My husband was...
what were you doing with them?
Well, I was kind of hanging around, to be honest. My husband was a developer and up at Lionhead in Guildford. And that's where the whole board game thing sort of came to fruition, really, because those guys were huge board gamers, and they sort of introduced me to some of the classics, really. And then I sort of got interested in it. And I was a graphic designer for years, and I kind of, from that point, had it in my mind that I just always wanted to make one from then on. I just love the whole look and feel of the things, and they're just lovely items, really. That's how I got into it.
So do you have quite a reasonable collection of games then? I mean, as the hobby growing with you, is the collection kind of growing with you?
It has. If I could afford it, I would have a large collection of games. As it is, I'm living in poverty in Cornwall, hoping to one day have a large collection of games. I've got a few. I've got the classics, and I'm hoping to expand out as I become a millionaire. Which is guaranteed to happen, so I've been told.
I definitely think if you wish hard enough and then go and work 150 hours a week, it'll definitely happen.
I'll sell the gold Lamborghini, I reckon. That'll do it.
What about you, Matt? I mean, how did you kind of take the thing?
How did I get into it? Well, I met Cait through.
I gave you a Chinese
no, we both go along to a local samba band, and I was obviously I played board games as Cait says, the Monopoly, which my brother made his own set, which was quite fun. But I was quite happily being I'm a book illustrator, and so Cait needed an illustrator for this pirate game, and so I ended up spending a couple of winters ago just drawing hundreds of pirates, and then all the rest of it fell out of that, really, and we just started working together, and the exciting, never-ending Kickstarter journey commenced.
That kind of sounds like enthusiasm that slowly slid into slight regret.
That's precisely what that tone of voice indicates.
Yeah, but it's been immensely good fun. And it's been fascinating to dive into the world of games and meet everybody up at the expo at the National Exhibition Centre, and we went over to Essen in Germany last autumn, which was just absolutely outrageous.
It was insane, wasn't it?
Yeah, I've been to Glastonbury before, but not undercover with loads of German gamers.
I just have to face everybody sober as well, which is never a good.
Oh, we didn't bother with the sober.
Never a good thing. But what about yourself? I mean, are you a big gamer yourself, Matt? I mean, do you play quite a bit, or are you? I mean, again, are you just kind of keeping with the staples and kind of keeping with the classics?
But it's really interesting becoming involved in it. It's something that I'd never ever imagined doing. You look at these things on the shelves, but actually meeting the community and getting to know some of the faces behind the games has been really, really quite an incredible process. And there's just so much talent and, just devotion to it. I love it. Yeah, really incredible.
But I mean, what kind of drove you forward to kind of think about the game in the first place? I mean, normally when I speak to a lot of creators, when they first switch the kind of the Skype on and they see a picture of them, they usually have got what appears to be usually every single board game that's ever been made in like 20 million shelves kind of behind them. But so from then, it's almost like a feeling of osmosis that eventually
one day they were bound to create.
If they don't make a game, it's either they make a game or they give birth to one. So I think for some of them it's just a case of kind of like going forward and kind of getting one made.
Yeah.
I mean, where did it get to the point where you just like sat down and went, right, I'm actually going to do this, and I'm actually going to kind of go ahead and make this.
It. Well, like I said, I was a graphic designer for a long time, and then I took a long while out to have kids. So I was in mummy land for quite a long time, and the idea sort of came to me on my first escape when my youngest was about 1 and a bit, I guess. I was on my first journey away from home, a long train journey up to Derby from Cornwall. And I just sort of started thinking, I really need a project. I just need something to do or I'm going to go completely insane. So it had always been bubbling in my mind that I sort of, board games are lovely things, and I kind of wanted to make one just, on the graphicsy side. And then I thought, it uses all the different bits of your brain. There's a lot of maths in there. There's a lot of writing in there. There's a lot of, there's so much different stuff going on in making one that I just thought, right, well, I need a project. I can't go to work. The baby's still too little. I'll make my own. I'll start this and then sort of
just too stubborn to stop.
Yeah, that is basically the heart of it. And then it just kind of got out of control, really. And we are.
Were you aware of the board game community when you kind of got started off? Were you kind of like at the fringes?
Very much at the fringes, really. I mean, I'd played some of the big ones and what have you, and yeah, I knew there must be an industry. I knew there must be a community, and you know, with board game cafes popping up here, there, and everywhere, it was kind of obvious that, hey, this is a thing. You know, it's a really interesting new sort of phenomenon, really, that's taking off in the last 5 years. It's grown massively, hasn't it? And it's just a great way of getting off the screens as well, which is. And actually sitting around and communicating with your fellow humans, and yeah, I just think it's really valuable in all sorts of ways.
No, I've seen that. I've seen that. I've got, you know, a young one myself, who, as you said, heard a couple of times in the background, because he's only young, but it's kind of got this kind of YouTube kind of generation where you get kids that'll there's YouTube channels specifically for them to go on.
Yeah.
So that's what they'll ask for, and then they'll sit there and kind of watching things. And at the beginning, you're kind of like, oh, thank goodness, because it means it gives me 5 minutes peace to go and
exactly. The electric
do what I have to do. But then after a while, when they're like, it's first thing on a Saturday morning at 6 o'clock, and they're saying, oh, I'm just going to go and watch YouTube on my tablet, you're kind of like, I want you to be doing that. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But then board games give us a way back in, because now that, I mean, tonight, before he's obviously not going to bed, but before that, we kind of had a little game of Darwin's Choice, which is kind of a game. It was recently on Kickstarter, actually earlier on this year, back in May, and all you do is you've got different cards, and they represent kind of different parts of different animals, and you get like an environment, and the idea is that you build an animal out of various different parts.
Really
and then it's got to match the environment. Now, he doesn't know the rules, you know.
No,
he doesn't know the rules 100%. He can't kind of read them to grasp the rules.
No.
So we just put the environment down, and then we build up the animal, but he gets his kind of creative stuff going. But the main thing about it is it's not me having a look at my phone and him having a look at a tablet, or him sitting on the telly and me doing something else. It's actually sitting over across from each other, and that's
that's
really kind of cool.
Sharing the experience.
Exactly. I mean, do you play kind of games with the kids? Are the kids at all then? Are they still quite
obviously
too young?
The great irony is that I've been working so damn hard on this thing that I've been putting them in front of the TV going, please watch Danger Mouse while I just try and finish this thing. But we have started playing a little bit. The youngest one is still a bit too young, so it's difficult. But I've got 8, 6, and 4. So he's getting there. The youngest one. Once he's just a little bit less like he's going to trash everything and tip the table over, then we can really get into it, I think.
Bite any kind of cardboard, but at 4,
just eat
4
it.
They're close to. They're actually close to kind of nursery school kind of age, so kind of thing. So it's not like it's a toddler walking and eating everything.
Yeah. So. Well, he still eats everything.
No, we played King Domino, which is fantastic because it's really easy for the youngest. Yeah. I've played it with 6-year-olds and 8-year-olds, and they really kind of really grasp it, and they really kind of love it. So, I mean, when you started with Pirates, what kind of demographic were you kind of going for when you were designing it? Did you design it with a particular demographic in mind? Did you design it with a particular... Was it the theme that you went for, or was it kind of like the mechanics? Because I've seen a couple of different ways that people develop, they develop a game. They either go down the mechanic route, or they go down the kind of the theme route, first of all.
The two kind of came up symbiotically, really. when I came up with the idea, I was definitely thinking that sailing would make a nice little mechanic for a game, because the tide can change where you can go and the wind can change how fast you can go. And that was the basic thought at the centre of it. And, I have always had a soft spot for pirates, and frankly, it was an excuse to drink a lot of rum.
Which certainly worked.
Cornwall, rum, and pirates just kind of go together, and the sailing thing was at the heart of it, really. And then I just kind of got Matt involved about 3 months in.
Yeah.
And I said, I might I might need a few character illustrations and what have you. Next thing I knew.
About 100 pirates, all with slightly weird autobiographies.
He just took the baton and legged it. It's like, I've got all of this. I was like, okay, right then. Righty-ho. Let's work with that.
And what did you think, Matt, when Cait approached you and said, could you draw us a pirate? Were you kind of like,
Yeah, it's great by me, and like who doesn't love a pirate, and and like I live in a boat just by the water here, and it's kind of there's a lot of my neighbours in there, and various characters from around town, and just a chance to let rip with the carry on humour, really.
Yes, carry on up there.
Were you given
history?
Were you given kind of like free rein then? Did Cait just say, go and just do some pirates, and you were like, right, here we go?
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't think I asked you to draw that many pirates. I kind of said, can you do me just this little thing?
Oh, yeah.
I've got this idea where I want it to be kind of cyan and black, so it's nice and
easy to print. It's cheap to print, so it's okay.
Like, right.
100.
I think I asked for about 3, and you came back with about 15 to start with, and then another 150 after that.
Well, we only did 108, and then we had a decimation when we realised we just had way too many cards, so we chopped it down to 60. I think we're up. Yeah. Sacked a few, chucked them overboard. Got eaten by the sea monster.
Yeah. Oh, and that was a great moment in the development as well.
Because we originally had a King's Revenue boat floating around, and they were just really tedious and boring.
I was Googling, and I found on Wikipedia that in this particular estuary there is a legendary monster called Morgor. And she was last seen in
1976, wasn't it?
Yeah, 1976 by some fishermen. So I was like, right, I'm in that.
There you go. That deals with a lot of problems.
Yeah. And she has taken off. She's just
she's our breakout character, really. She's even got her very own sock puppet, which is just intensely good.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Oh yeah, and the other thing that came out of nowhere, so I was merrily making this game, and then Matt turns up and says, "Hey, listen to this!" He started writing shanties, so we now have an album of shanties to go with it as well.
Are they going to the backers as well?
Yeah.
This is part of it. Our £1 thing was a track off the album. The £10 one was you get an album load of shanties, and then it's just everybody else gets given a copy. So that's what I'm rapidly doing at the moment, is realising, oh my God, it's November and I've got to finish all these buggers. So I'm just, I don't know if I can say that on podcast.
Not on BBC.
It's fine.
You can bleep that out. So I've got 13 shanties which are in various stages of completion.
How do you write a shanty?
I found it disturbingly easy. It's one of those things where I'd never tried before, and I've been doing music for donkey's years, but never written a shanty before, and suddenly these things just started spilling out of me. It's kind of like disturbingly finding your meaning in life.
Actually a pirate. It's okay.
Yeah, I was born 3 centuries too late.
Yeah.
It's like going into the middle of an Amazonian forest and discovering there's like an indigenous tribe member that has an automatic ability to play anything at all on the violin, whatever you kind of want.
Yeah,
Matt,
Yes.
Matt, do you put on an accent?
Of course
when
I do.
You sing this shit.
I do a ridiculous Cornish accent. Thank you very much.
Some of this.
Yeah, I'll pop some in when I send the sound file up to you. You can have listen to the silliness.
Have you got one of those miniature accordions? You have.
Now the accordion was a difficult one because I actually cheated with the accordion. It's a what's it called? A melodion. It's one of those little blowy down tooty things that the you get a lot in reggae. Guys play this sort of thing. So I got one of those. I'm no good with bellows.
I don't think anybody's going to hold it against you. I'm no good with it. I've never been good with it. Oh, for goodness sake, what are you doing, Tweed?
Never been good with bellows, sir. I'm sorry.
Today's adventure has been. I've borrowed a banjo and have been plonking away on that. So
can you plonk on a banjo?
You can't do anything else on a banjo.
Have you thought about putting it on Spotify?
Have you thought about it, man?
Actually, no, I haven't thought of putting it on Spotify. The sheer terror of trying to get it finished for our backers is enough. But maybe it'd be nice to stick it up on iTunes or something like that.
Is it a difficult thing to do? Do you just start off and say, right, do you just throw down a whole pile of words and then say, right, I've got to get these words and phrases into the shanty, and then kind of get the melodium and go, wow, and then like that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, it's an interesting process. There's various different things. Sometimes it's the tune comes first, and I sit there with the guitar, or just out for a walk, and the tune will come down. So I'll hum it into my phone, and try and make sense of it. Or sometimes because each of the crew's got their own bizarre biography. So sometimes it's kind of like there's one about the Lady Liza who has got this rollicking great shanty, and she's obviously from the aristocracy. And I was just thinking, how on earth did she end up in a crap pirate boat floating off Cornwall when she's obviously, just this entirely capable?
Is she trying to disappoint her father?
Yeah. Because it turned out it's a rebellion against her admiral's father, who no daughter of mine's go to sea. It's like, fuck you, Daddy. Sorry, damn you, Daddy. There's another beep. So she ran off to sea, but she joined the navy dressed as a bloke, because there's a final tradition of that, and then obviously fell for this pirate captain, and then spent a lot of time chasing after this pirate captain, and eventually fell in love with him, and then sort of like the ship with her navy ship was sunk, and so they're about to walk the plank, and she realizes that the pirate captain's actually her long lost sweetheart, who was chucked out of the family home by her father.
It's like The Princess Bride.
Yeah, it's The Princess Bride. I was just saying that you totally stole that off The Princess
under
Bride.
The sun.
That's nothing. You're a fraud. You're a fraud, Tweed. You're an actual fraud.
We've changed the name.
You might as well start the song with some kind of New York Jewish guy singing the first line. Good, I'm just going to tell you a story.
The story of the Lady Liza.
That is The Princess Bride. There you go. Matt Tweed.
Pirate Tweed.
In a roundabout way, telling us the first chapter of The Princess Bride, and then claiming it as his own, so he could turn it into a shanty.
Yeah.
That's how it goes, isn't it?
I actually know The Princess Bride.
Have you not seen it?
No, of course I haven't.
Oh.
Otherwise, I'd be. Otherwise, oh damn, someone's got there first. But so does she run away to sea dressed as a bloke?
No, she doesn't run away to sea.
That's something original.
It's completely different.
Yeah,
It's the opposite. Wesley runs off to sea to become No, he doesn't. He goes in some kind of ship, and then his ship gets captured by the Dread Pirate Roberts, and then
he becomes.
I know this story this story far too well. I should probably.
Oh, there is a reference to it in the game. Actually, The Princess Bride.
Is there?
Yeah, Inigo the swordfish. My name is Inigo. You killed my father, but they die. Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, there's a swordfish called Inigo who challenges everyone to a duel.
So the Princess Bride is in there somewhere, right? By a tortuous route.
There's a lot of very
fantastic, great
tortuous references in this game.
Oh, there's some.
Maybe Matt, you were actually subtly kind of subliminary. There's a subliminary kind of thing going on.
Oh, yeah.
So you can't actually take the blame. It was actually always there.
That's true. There is indeed a lot of subtlety in the game.
There's some subtlety.
Thinly disguised as lewdness.
How easy was it to build the audience then? I mean, coming from relatively kind of nowhere.
Coming from obscurity.
Yeah. That was fun. And we for our second Kickstarter, we got on these local business startup sort of courses, and of course one of the guys, bless him, goes, "Oh yeah, if you're on Kickstarter, then there's this brilliant example of exploding kittens, because they just sort of did a Kickstarter and got £2.5 million, and it's just like, oh wow, that's great." But, and like we just held our it's kind of like, the thing with them is they had already a long running blog with thousands of people. Getting people interested has been hard. That's a much better word than I was going to use.
Possibly not better, but possibly more broadcastable.
Being from outside, then, as you said yourself, being on the kind of fringes.
Yeah.
Did you find kind of jumping in and saying, "Hey, look, guys, we've got this game"? Did you find there was a couple of kind of barriers there to people kind of maybe saying, "Well, how many have you done before? How many have you back?"
I think
we extremely welcoming, actually.
Yeah, because we rocked up at the NEC a couple of years ago with this game on a sort of like first
draft on it. We had this grand idea,
and it's just like, we'll bump into someone from Mattel or something like that.
Sell it to a publisher.
Wow, this is great. Hey guys, this is great. Here, have a wad of cash, and they just take it away. You know how it always happens. I'm sure you've had lots of people on your podcast who have had exactly that story. They've just had like a pre-production version of it, and this bigwig's just gone and given them sort of like a couple of million, and they've
that's how it goes.
And they just swan off to the.
It's every week. I'm actually sick of listening to that story.
That's where I got the Gold Lamp Gaming.
If somebody comes up to me again
and says that, are you just going to smack them?
The table's getting flipped. It's going everywhere. It's going to take my Tantive 4 Star Wars beautiful model with it. But I mean, you've got to make a statement with it. It's a serious statement in a serious earth. To be perfectly honest, this is what it is.
Are serious. Yeah. But we thought that's the route we were going to go down, and then we went to UKGE in 2016,
and just met all the guys up there, and like once we've got over the initial holy fork, this is, and then just started talking to people, and everybody was so friendly, and just oh, well, if they didn't know it, you need to talk to John over on stand C16, and we just got bounced around UKGE. I just met lots of lovely folks, and just gradually realised that we'd have to go down the Kickstarter route because everybody else does. And then it's like, how easy is it to get an audience? It's not easy at all.
It's horrendous.
It's really difficult, but we've slowly worked at it. We've built up our fairly mental Facebook page. Doing all of that, friends, family, acquaintances. Sort of like gamers groups. People have been immensely encouraging, and
absolutely. We've had some really fantastic advice as well from just just really friendly guys in the industry. I mean, so we first time we went up to UKG, we were on the Playtest UK tables.
Yeah.
And Rob from Playtest UK has just been absolutely brilliant at just introducing us to folks. And so we go along to everything that we're invited to and just start talking to people. And I remember at that first one we were demoing at the Meet the Maker thing.
Yeah.
And yeah. People were coming up. What was that fantastic chap called? I can't remember. Oh, it'll come back to me. Anyway, Kevin Young from Inspiring Games.
From Inspiring Games.
He was there, and he was my favourite quote about our games. I really wanted to hate this, but I can't.
Did Kevin say that?
He said that to us, and I've just taken that with me. And I was just like, that's just lovely. I really wanted to hate this, but I can't.
That's a box quote. I mean,
Kevin Young. I really wanted
Kevin Young.
But yeah,
Inspiring Games.
I wanted to hate this, but I can't.
Sounds fantastic.
Yeah, he was won over by Morgor the Sea Monster, in fact.
Yeah, that's right. We had one of our very early Fimo Morgors, which Cait managed to make out of Fimo somehow.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
I'm still finding little Morgals all over my boat, actually.
We made a lot. Yeah, and then at Essen, we went to Essen during our first Kickstarter, which was doomed.
Yeah, we realised it was halfway through our Kickstarter when we realised there's no way we're going to make it, and we were in Germany in amongst just like billions of people. All it was the best of times and the worst of times, though not necessarily in that order.
Yeah, but I mean, even then, like Cesar from Alicat kind of reached out to us and said, guys, your Kickstarter is doomed. Do you want to have a talk about it? And I was like, oh, yes, I do.
Yeah. And he was just incredibly helpful.
Yeah, just gave us some really sound advice.
Basically from that meeting, we got the groundwork for our second Kickstarter,
the second one,
which
was much better.
Which was much better. The game was much better, and there's nothing like a bit of hard criticism.
There's nothing like a kick up the bum.
Yeah, just to go right. Okay, we need to tighten this up, and so. And a lot of the look of the game, the board, the redesign of the board came from the UKG playtest.
Yeah.
Some of the guys playing that suggested, "Oh yeah, have you thought about this?" And it's kind of like, what a great idea. Okay, so it was very much from feedback from the gaming community that we tightened up the board, the game, and it's the amazing thing it is now.
Yeah. It is amazing. Shut up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody wants you to fail.
No.
I don't think anybody that's in the industry wants anybody else to do badly. I think sometimes with advice it's difficult to take advice, and I think sometimes somebody will say, well, you need to do this slightly differently.
It's hard to take
you're
sometimes.
so kind of blinkered trying to look after your own game and the original vision of the game, that it's difficult to kind of step away from it and actually
there's a balance to be struck.
I think there's something right, you know.
Yeah. There's definitely a balance between absolute pig-headedness, which I do have.
Yeah, and is absolutely necessary for getting
and taking advice, you know,
for getting it made. And there's so many times we could have just gone.
You know what?
Actually, I can now fully realise that each one of these games that's out there on the shelf or like being play tested is such a labour of love.
Yeah.
And there's been so much work and care and attention gone into it. And it just amazed me seeing some of the, big multiplayer sort of like Zillion dice games, just the sheer intricacy of it, and these guys with tape measures and like about 50 dice, and it's kind of like there's the most incredibly detailed spaceship attacking another incredibly detailed spaceship, and the just talking to one of he's been in his bedroom for 3 years designing this, and it's just come out and everybody loves it, and it's just well done. I like what an incredible thing to have done, and what an amazing labor of love, and to have brought it out and for people to play it. I just think it's astonishing.
Yeah.
Do you think that's sometimes lost nowadays with the Kickstarter, and you would have discovered this firsthand, the Kickstarter platform seeming to be such a commercial.
It's been completely perverted, hasn't it, from what it was meant to do. I mean, even all the big publishers on there launching their new games, it's very frustrating.
Funded in 2.5 seconds.
Yeah.
I had an interesting conversation, and people will be able to pick up when we recorded this, because I had an interesting conversation on Kickstarter where I pretty much just raised the point, and I just said that there's pretty much too many. Why is there? Why, from what I've seen, why is there an influx of games now that seem to either they seem to fund and then cancel, or they don't fund within about 3 or 4 days, and then they cancel and disappear only to kind of come back again. Because I remember, I've had a few people on the show, and obviously we've had our fair share of people who have gone on to try and kind of restart a couple of times. The guys from Orange Nebula, when they first did Epoch, which is now called Vindication, their first campaign kind of crashed, and then they set it up. They set it to go again, and then there was guys that did Dinogenics. They were in the same boat. There was Mark McKinnon, Wrecking Round
he
fame.
went 3 times, didn't he? Fantastic.
He went kind of 3 times. Justin from Bad Cat Games for Elements, he went twice as well. But now there seems to be not a case of people waiting until they're kind of finished. They're kind of sitting there and saying, right, if we've not hit the funding goal within kind of like the first 3 days, then they're almost like they're pulling the plug, or they're almost having second thoughts.
Resigned to it not happening.
But they also seem to be reducing the funding level as well, the targeted level.
The psychology of Kickstarter is a very weird thing to play. It's like, if you can get the cash in the first 2 days, then everyone thinks it's worth backing. But if you don't, you've got a big mountain to climb to convince everyone. It's a horrible kind of balancing act, I found, of setting our goal, because we set it where we thought we could definitely fulfill. But just.
Yeah, there's a lot of just on it.
Yeah. And it is really frustrating when people just go, well, I'm going to set it here in the hope that I'll overfund in the first 2 weeks, overfund in the first 2 hours or whatever. It seems just a bit cynical, and we're not in it to be cynical. We're in it to actually make the thing that we say we're going to make and fulfill it properly and actually do it.
Yeah. I think something's going to happen. I think something's going to change with the platform. Yeah. I think that it did used to be the case that I need $5,000 to make this, and if I get $5,000, then it is made. And everything is happy, and now it seems to be there's this push to say I need $3,000 to get this made, and it's like wink wink, I actually need 5. And I think
and there's people sort of getting towards their getting overfunded right to the end of the campaign, and then pulling it because all the money in the campaign is their own money. That's also very cynical.
I've seen. I know that Mark McKinnon of Wrecking Room was saying, well, the last time he did it, he considered a target that he had put money aside, so it was going to get made regardless kind of what was happening. So they put that level so low that it would get funded, and then he would kind of make up the difference. Yeah, and it's a strange thing where it's like people are wanting money to fund an idea, but then it's creating this barrier where it's almost a case of if you have no money, it's very, very difficult to get a game made on Kickstarter because you're needing to invest a chunk of change.
Yeah, you almost kind of match fund it, don't you? It's
you're almost having to get in the money for the art. You're going to have to get the money in for the production of the boards. You can't prototype copies have to be almost as good as final versions. It's quite a kind of a scary kind of daunting process. But obviously you guys stormed through and you funded the second test.
We funded. I wouldn't necessarily say
storm is a strong word.
Yeah, that's right up until.
I'm using it in the Cornwall sense of the word storm.
Yes,
basically, isn't it kind of a line?
A horizontal rain and backwards flying seagulls sort of sense.
Something like that. Yeah, pretty much. But you did fund, though. I mean,
we
did.
We did fund, and we did overfund, which was massive relief.
Yeah.
Which made everything just that little bit more possible without having to, put our own, too much of our own cash into it to get it actually manufactured.
Yeah.
What was the learning process like for the actual production side of things? Because everybody talks about the ideas and the design.
Steep and horrendous.
Yeah.
You have no idea what you don't know until you find out you don't know it. Yeah, I mean, our manufacturers have been absolutely brilliant. Actually, I must mention them, which is Bangui Games out in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And part of the reason I chose them was because their name is funny. I would just like to get that on record. But also because being at Bangui is absolutely fantastic. His communication
they came highly recommended, and they've just been brilliant right from the word go.
Yeah, as first timers, I'm just reliant on him to tell me what I need to do, really, and he does.
Yeah, and they got everything there on time. We had the
really good.
Pre-production copy come over, which was just like, oh my god, what is going to come out of the envelope? And like people are being, you don't want to deal with the Chinese, come back, it's going to be shit. And we opened the box and it just looked fantastic. The whole lot was just gorgeous, and it was just like huge sigh of relief and a couple of pints.
Yeah, and so we were dealing with two different manufacturers out there, actually, because our board isn't a board; it's a fabric mat.
Yes.
So Bangui couldn't do that because it's not within their remit, their capabilities. So we had to go to a different specialist fabric manufacturer for that. So we were coordinating between two Chinese factories, and they were talking to each other, and we were talking to them, and then the shippers and everything, and tax.
And tax,
tax.
Don't forget the tax.
Don't forget the tax. Don't ever forget the tax.
Yeah. And just be prepared for there's a little bit more tax that we knew. That's taxable as well. Oh, great.
Did you know that's taxable? Oh, brilliant.
Great. Oh, even that's taxable. Oh, right.
Have you noticed with kind of like the change in the political landscape and the changes in exchange rate and stuff like that? Did that have an effect on manufacturing costs and things like that?
Yeah, it did. I mean, there was times when I was like, I hope we can get it signed off soon.
Yeah.
Look at the exchange rate.
Every time.
Oh my God.
Every time dear Teresa opened her mouth, it was kind of like, oh no, that's just wiped another, few zeros off our bank account. It's just,
international trade and industry is not what I went into it for, really.
No. Had we known a few years ago that we'd be dealing with, it's fantastic at the moment because we've just been watching this absolutely enormous container ship trundling its way across the world on the satellite tracking website, which is just fascinating. Just knowing that one tiny corner of one tiny container aboard this vast thing
Hulk
has a couple of pallets of pirate games, and so we've been doing this map around the world with this, which has just been immensely good fun, just tracking this thing and just letting the backers know. And it's been lovely, having the connection with the backers and the Facebook group, and people just falling in love with the sea monster, and just having these running conversations on the Kickstarter and bulletin board, and like pineapples, and it's just such genius. What a lovely thing to be part of, and know when we started off we wouldn't have imagined any of this whatsoever. No, we were so naive and
green, wet behind the ears, green behind the ears, whatever.
Was that kind of like an added bonus did you expect to have the kind of the community the way that they were? I mean, was that something that you weren't kind of prepared for, was to have people that were willing to almost back you up and support you and be your cheerleaders, even though you've potentially never ever met them, and you'll potentially never ever speak to them in real life.
Yeah, it's just we weren't really prepared. I mean, I think we can safely say we actually have 2 fans now, which is very exciting.
Yeah, which is great, and
it's just really. It just helps when we're staring at it, going, "Oh, what have we got to do now? I don't understand postage."
And then there's this Diana, Queen of Piney Apples, who's out in Estonia, and Vince, who are just there. As soon as we post something, then there's this ongoing chat that they have between them, and it's just like, oh, how brilliant!
And it does kind of keep you going, doesn't it? When you're looking at,
oh my word. I'm looking at this just now. It's like the latest thing. Like Aroo, how's it going? Tosses a pineapple.
I know.
Catches pineapple, fills it with rum, and bats it back with a shipmate's wooden leg. And you've actually written it in pirate. Arr, sorry for you long period of silence. We've been a little busy bees getting it all the way to ship shape.
We do everything in pirate. We do. You wait till the how to play videos. There's coming up soon. Isn't it?
Oh yeah. Oh my god.
You have to. I would obviously, even though the campaign is no longer kind of live, as in you're able to back it, it's probably worthwhile going on and checking it. Just to see the comments, which can...
That's about 250 of the last count.
It is like when you're able to turn your language on Facebook into pirate. It's like, and the brilliant thing about it is every single person, except him, but we won't talk about him, is actually deciding to completely go about pirates.
Arr.
So there you go. This is just amazing.
Yeah.
There has to be. I'm quite impressed. That everybody's staying in character. It's like It's like being in some kind of Gilbert and Sullivan or Plato.
It's much more bizarre than that.
Pirates of Penryn the musical. Coming your way.
Pirates of Penzance.
Indeed. Yeah, so there's an awful lot of piratey silliness, frankly.
Yeah.
Have you had enough of piratey silliness? I mean,
no, not at all.
I mean, are you continuing with? I mean, I heard the clunk as your fake wooden leg fell off earlier on.
If you want a bit of piratey silliness, have you actually seen any of the shanty videos? That's as far as we've got in piratey silliness.
On the YouTube, we've stuck some of those up.
They have been the height of piratey silliness. My favourite is Gertie's one.
Gertie's one, which just took forever. I like, as part of the Facebook campaign, we started doing these videos for the shanties, and then just spent for so long doing them, and then just and it's everything's just filmed on Cait's iPhone, just single shots, and it's just been absolute lunacy. There's Morgul one where I actually leap about on the rocks and just nearly wipe out on a load of seaweed. And then just waves crashing over. It's just while Cait behind the camera's got this sock puppet sea monster made out of a green rugby sock and what is it? It's a load of plate scourers, isn't it?
Yes, plate scourers and a rugby sock.
My God.
Really, take a look. I mean, that's the most fun we've had, I think, making those videos. There's a special effects kind of position in the new Star Wars film.
Oh my God, yeah, because we realised that how the videos, the most expensive effects budget was spending £10 on the Flushing ferry to get this cardboard whirlpool to go round, which was
cardboard whirlpool on a fishing rod.
On a fishing rod, it's suspended from like cotton. We wound it up, and there were this bunch of American tourists sitting behind us, just going, "What the hell are they doing?"
Nothing to see here. Just sting some fun.
And then did we get the shot? No. We're going to have to go back then.
Yeah.
Yes. That's another £2.50.
I don't know if you can write that off with a tax man
I might
potentially
try.
for kind of like marketing, potential kind of marketing expenses. You've got. Do you have enough copies for retail then?
Yeah.
I mean, So I mean, was that a consideration?
We sold about quarter to a third on.
Yeah, so about 250
campaign.
are going out to backers, and then we've got 750 left to take out to retail.
Okay.
So
so we've got
we're hitting locally first, and then we'll start
and
in the new year. We'll start pottering about the country.
Got them into National Trust shops and local National
Really?
Maritime Museum and local shops here are interested, and like a whole pile of pre-sales. So it's all so we'll be dressing up as in the
December's basically going to be Pirates O'Clock. Get the uniform on, get out of work.
Right.
I'm getting the feeling that if you didn't have a board game to sell anymore, there would still be pirate activity.
I strongly suspect.
Going on.
Whilst there's rum in the world.
This is what I'm getting. This is what I'm feeling at the moment.
Well, there's rum to be brewed.
But I mean, with the retail, I mean, obviously the retail tail of it has. I mean, would you think about reprints and things like that? Are you now looking at kind of other games? I mean, you've got a funded game. Yeah. I mean, you're doing kind of a lot better than a lot of people out there who are sitting with a piece of A4 in front of them and saying, "Right,
where to start?
Tonight is the night tonight is the night that I am going to start."
I'm going to invent
my game.
Yeah, so that was
coffee table balancing.
that was the idea with C. Griffin Games, was that Pirates of Penryn was just going to be a start, and after we'd sold it up at the Games Expo, we'd have just come back to Cornwall and started
making new ones.
Yeah, Fire is the next one. Mine. And then there's mine.
Mine is the next one.
But TM on that one. So watch this.
TM mine.
So that was the whole idea, was to actually develop games and do that, rather than end up becoming unwitting experts in import export and bloody postage rates and like yesterday we spent an afternoon cutting cardboard boxes so that when they do eventually arrive, we'll be able to package them up. So we did 250 cutting bloody corrugated iron. Corrugated iron. That's what my ship's made out of.
Corrugated iron boxes. They're going to be really, really safe. No corner dents in those, my friend.
Corner dents.
Oh my word.
Yeah. So yes, we would like to make more games. We would like to make more piratey nonsense. You would love to, but it will. Yeah, hopefully it'll fly. How do
you play Pirates of Penryn? I mean, we've talked now.
Now we are.
We've not actually spoken about how you play the game. We're blissfully just chatting away. It's a very, very nice conversation. But I am aware you've now got 750 copies to shift, so it's probably a good idea to maybe explain to people.
Right.
What's the message?
The message.
What's the message?
Florins, as many as you can do. Sell rum, get florins, fight. Avoid the local sea monster.
Yeah. Get
it back to your galleon and win.
Yeah. That's a very short version. Absolutely.
What's the slightly longer version?
So you bowl up from the Caribbean with a ton of rum, and you've got to sail it into the local ports to sell it, get yourselves a heap of florins, and get it back to your galleon before everybody else attacks
nabs your florin and or
takes
rum
it off
or your crew or whatever.
Yeah. But the wind and the tide will affect how you move and where. So some ports are easier to get to than others. The Penryn, right up the other end of the estuary, is very tidal, so you can only get in there at certain times.
With the wind going in the right direction.
Yeah, if the wind is in you've got to change your plans really with whichever way the wind is.
Yeah, so there's a bit of luck with it. The tide and wind changes each turn, and a lot of skill. And one of the things we found early on with it was that you might have this plan, and then as soon as the wind changes, then it's just like, oh, you can't do that, or someone just hoys up and robs you blind, or sets a sea monster on you, or whatever. So there's a lot of
different strategies and tactics. Yeah, you can play it quite a few different ways, I'd say, and no way yet has seemed to be consistently better than any other, as far as I can tell. Yeah. Some people just bat up and down to the closest port, sell their rum for pennies and make it home and win before anyone else manages to get back.
Yeah, that doesn't necessarily mean they win.
No, some people sail all the way up the other end, get a massive heap of gold, and then get plundered on the way home.
Get it robbed off you.
Yeah, some people just hang around attacking people, Matt, don't they?
No, not all the time. And some people cheat ferociously.
And if you can, buy some decent rum to go with it.
That does make the game a little bit longer, though, we've found in practice. but does end up to a more heated gameplay.
So there's lots of ways to play it.
But I suppose if you do spill that rum, then you've got a lovely kind of table.
You've got a lovely tablecloth to mop it up. Yeah, it's very absorbent, but only for rum. You can wring it out afterwards if you get desperate.
And are you allowed to have a mixer with that rum?
No, not if it's good rum. If it's horrible rum, you can.
Yeah, it's recommended. Ginger beer is generally quite good.
Mate. Ginger. Actually, we invented a cocktail. Do you remember we invented a cocktail to go with the game? It's called Saracen Storm. Which I sent over to I'm a Social Gamer over in the States. Actually, they were asking for stuff, so it's a Saracen Storm, which is
Vaughan.
Vaughan Reynolds. Yeah.
So what's that? Is that rum?
It's rum with ginger wine instead of ginger beer.
Wine, oh, that's the one.
Yeah, it's an it's
God,
lethal.
That's lethal.
It's utterly lethal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but you could have a ginger beer in there.
You can,
if you really wanted it lethal, you could have an alcoholic ginger beer in there, to then be like one of your cheeky Vimtos.
And then you could regret your decisions for the next week and a half.
Good questions about what I did with my life.
Why would I do that?
Why can't I bear light? Why are my fingernails sweating?
Where did I get that extra chair in my house from?
I don't remember knocking myself out.
I think that did happen.
My word. Oh my word.
Yeah.
But is this giving you kind of like a confidence to kind of go on and kind of develop more games? I mean, let's face it, look at it this way. If you've sold, 250 of these games on Kickstarter, which is potentially what you've got, that's kind of like an audience that you can then go back and market to kind of later on.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we would love to. We would absolutely love to. It's something we're gonna. Yeah.
We're going to get this done.
We're gonna get this done.
And then in the new year we'll have a
proper
thing.
Strategize.
There are a few things in the being kicking around on the back burner.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Which
nothing in development. I couldn't really call it in development. We could call it thinking about.
That's in development.
That's in development. Yeah. I planned it the other day, and then.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Is this mine?
Mine.
Yeah,
It's mine. It's mine.
Yeah, which stems from this great Cornish game we developed down here. It's an interactive one where everybody points at a mine and just goes mine.
If you see a mine, you can shout
you go mine, and it doesn't matter if someone's already pointed at the mine. Anybody else can then point at that mine and go mine. Yeah. It's a development of tractor, which is another fantastic Cornish game where if you see a tractor, you shout out tractor and you get a point.
Yeah.
It's an awesome game. You should try it.
We play Yellow Car.
Oh, Yellow Car. Sounds
Yellow Car
similar.
Is right, because yellow cars are unusual cars, and my daughter told me that. She goes, I've got this fantastic game. I says, okay, what's it called? She goes, it's called Yellow Car. She says, how do you play it? and we drove past the yellow car, and she punched me on the arm, and went yellow
the
car.
punching in the arm.
Excellent.
Oh, okay, that could be a development
It's
track.
fantastic.
Yeah, we've not come across that.
No, we've not done the punching one.
No.
We need the little Scottish hint in there.
There you go.
Just a little bit of violence to go with it.
Yeah, a little bit of
Well, it is, that's just that.
Celtic vim.
Yeah, you have to bring them up as well as you can, and sometimes they turn around and say they could get to punch you when they see a yellow car. So
Yellow car,
that's exactly.
Listen,
that's
we
how
might
it
take
goes.
up that one, actually. It sounds like good fun.
Okay, that can be the extended rules.
I'm not condoning anything along those lines. I just like to make it perfectly clear. But no, I mean, things. I mean, this must be weird, but when you first sat down and went, right, I'm going to make a game, Cait, now to you sitting there and going, well, we've got other games we can make, and we're successfully funded now, and we've got our shipment coming over, and people are going to actually be playing the game. So, I mean, you could have done something else. I mean, you said you're waiting for a project. You might have decided to take up welding.
I'd have been richer. I would love to say that my job is making board games. That would make me very happy. So yeah, I would really love to. And we have got some wind in the sails at the moment, right? With it having funded, which is still a little bit of a surprise and delight.
Yeah.
We're still getting over the trauma of running a Kickstarter, I think, to be honest.
It was so tense, even up until the last days, because on the Kickstarter you get given this graph, there's an initial sort of like rise, and then this straight line, and I just got this ruler and put it on the screen, and we were going for 9K, and like this straight line just ended up at 8,100, and it's just like, oh my god, we're going to be so close. And then bless them, Kickstarter gave us Project We Love.
Yeah.
Oh right, yeah.
And that really helped. That was just in the last week. We just got tagged Project We Love, and bless them,
got over the line,
and we were shocked.
Surprised and delighted.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Was that the Shanty Festival? That's when? Or did we start
we
it
signed
off?
out at the Shanty Festival. Yeah.
Shanty Festival.
Yeah, Falmouth International Shanty Festival.
Come along, it's just awesome. The whole town just gets taken over by people dressed as pirates singing sea shanties.
It's absolutely phenomenal. There's like 20 different stages and about 100 different groups.
Shanty crews. And
Is that close to you guys? Is that?
Yeah.
We're Falmouth Penryn. It's the massive southwest conglomeration.
It's
the sprawl.
And when's that take place? Is that when it's taking place
that's
this year?
in June, isn't it? So that would have been June the 23rd when we timed the Kickstarter to end on the Shanty Festival. So either we could drown our sorrows or celebrate,
or drown our joy, or drown our joy. Yeah, which was fantastic. And our friends, the Pirates of St. Penryn, who are just this rambunctious shanty side, who bless them, they backed us on the way and played at our launch party and everything. And they're just fantastic. There's about 30 of them all dressed up as pirates and all sort of shredded, it was fantastic.
Yeah. So next time when it's on again, you could actually go along and take copies of the game.
We can indeed.
Yeah,
that'd be fantastic.
We'll just nobble people on the streets.
Yeah,
like whack.
Press gaming.
Yeah, press gaming. Love it.
If people have listened along tonight and they want to pick up a copy of the game,
piratesofpenryn.com.
Yeah,
and that's where our web shop is.
Yep, that's where the pre-sales are at the moment, because they will be entering the country in the next couple of weeks.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
and where else do you exist on the internet web?
So we're Pirates of Penryn on Facebook.
And on Twitter and Instagram. You can also find some
us on YouTube.
Very silly videos on YouTube. The Shanty videos are actually on piratesofpenryn.com too.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so if you go to the Shanties tab on there, you'll find the things that we've entertained ourselves doing greatly.
Excellent. We will definitely put all these links in the show notes so that we have notes to show. If you want to keep an eye on what we're up to, then go on to internet webs, go to Googleys, search We're Not Wizards, you'll find us. We're on like Twitter and Facebook, and we're on things like Instagram, and we're on Tumblr, and we've got our website, which is we'renotwizards.com. We've got our blog, which is we'renotwizards.blogspot.com. Nice. We're on YouTube, which is We're Not Wizards Tabletop Podcast. You can find us on all of the normal podcast catchers, Stitcher and Spreaker and Acast and things like that. We're also on Apple Podcasts, and as we say, if you like what you've listened to tonight, please jump on and give us a subscription, because it's always nice to get some new people listening along and joining in with our nonsense. If you like us even more than that, consider giving us a rating or a review. If you are going to be giving us a rating or a review, then remember, don't give us 10 stars, because it makes us big-headed. But don't give us 1, because it makes us cry. Give us something in the middle, like a 5, because it's average, and we're just a little bit average. But the people who have not been average today, I've got Matt, I've got the fantastic Cait.
Oh, thank you. It's been a blast.
My absolute pleasure.
Well, thank you very, very much for coming on. There's only 3 more things to do. The first thing is that every pirate needs a sword. So at the moment we're running a competition where if you send us a picture of you with a sword that you've crafted, then you have a chance to win Sword Crafters from Adam's Apple Games, anywhere in the world at all. Because, Adam's in the US, I'm in the UK, we'll get a game to you one way or t'other. It doesn't have to be, you can DM us, you can drop us a quick email at magic@wearenotwizards, just a picture of you with some kind of sword, and you can win a copy of the fantastic Sword Crafters by Adam Apple Games. The second thing is to remember that we are many things, but we're not wizards. Are we wizards?
No.
No.
We're pirates.
Of course we're not. We're pirates. My word. And the last thing is to say goodbye. So it's a goodbye from the rather wonderful, the rather fantastic.
Excellent.
I give you Cait Russell.
Goodbye.
And Matt Tweed.
Arr.
From C. Griffin Games. Say goodbye.
See you around.
Goodbye.
You scurvy knaves.
Goodbye, my Harris.
And it's a goodbye from me. Remember, stay safe. Roll6s.com. If you fancy a little bit of rum, a little bit of smuggling, a little bit of mermaids on a round blue sea thing that tells you where the direction of the wind's going, which is incredibly cool looking. And if you fancy supporting a UK games designer who is looking at doing more games, then go and see Pirates of Penryn. Jump on the site. We'll put the links in the show notes. And, give them a check out and check out what they're going to be doing in the future. But until the next time,
A wizard is never late. Nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.